Hey everybody, and welcome back to the continuation of the Megadeth discography. I am, of course, Chainsaw Gears 12, and here we are, guys. We're going to talk about Euthanasia. Wow. So, there's a lot to talk about on this album, but I want to get to the main points and basically just give you my honest opinion, and that's it, really, because I don't want to continue just to ramble on, because there's a lot of information I could talk about, a lot of stuff I could talk about, but I want to get to the main points that really stick out. So, the first thing I do want to talk about, which I usually don't talk about a lot, is album cover artwork. And the reason why I want to, because it looks kind of messed up and it's really controversial, and I can understand why people were kind of like about this album. So the artwork is an old lady hanging babies upside down on a clothing line, and if you look at the image, you can see where they're just hanging, they're going on for a while, like zigzagging back farther back in the artwork, and it's kind of messed up. If you have kind of a weak stomach for that kind of stuff, you might not want to look at that artwork for sure. So that was something interesting that Dave Mustaine allowed, but it is what it is. So, like the previous Megadeth record, Countdown to Extinction, Megadeth have brought it back, and they're basically kind of relaxing and not putting out really fast stuff. There are some moments where the music does get kind of fast and kind of fun to listen to, like, oh, this is fast, it's really good. But mainly, this album is basically just sticking to the formula of hard rock type stuff, and basically just giving you more melodies and just basically saying, well, here you go. Because, like, I was, like, trying to, like, wait till, like, a song pops up that's going to make me go, wow, this reminds me of Rust in Peace, or, you know, their earlier stuff than that. But, no, it was basically like Countdown to Extinction, but kind of slower. Kind of pulled back more. And, I don't know, it was just, it's kind of hard to place how I feel. I don't hate the album, but I necessarily don't love all of it, but it's pretty decent material. Just they're just bringing it back more. They're kind of just relaxing more and just kind of laying back and just going, you know, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to stick with, you know, melodic stuff and not trying to play as fast as we can like on Rust in Peace. So I want to get to right now, I want to get to the sound of the band, because that's a big thing on this album, is the sound. So, of course, like I've always done, Dave Mustaine first. Dave Mustaine's vocals and his lyrics. His vocals, and his voice sound kind of weird, but not too weird to the point where you don't want to listen to it. But comparing his voice and the way that his voice is presented on this album, comparing it to past releases, it doesn't really fit. You would think it would be better, but it just sounds like kind of weird. Because since the fact is also, well, I wanted to get to it later, but the guitar tone, the guitar tuning is not E standard. What I've heard from multiple sources is that they tune to E flat on most or all of the songs. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, you can just tell it's not an E standard. A lot of this material is, but I think that just had a little change, because since they're playing lower, that Dave has to kind of sing lower in order to match up with the guitars and trying to fit what's going to happen. But like I said, his vocals sound different, and weird, but it is what it is. But I necessarily don't like it as much as past stuff, his vocal style. His lyrics are decent, but I wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics that much, but I have looked them up, but it's not something I really looked into that much, because mainly the music was the thing that was really getting me, because the music is the thing I noticed the most. So, like I said, guitar tone, Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine, rhythm and lead. So the guitar tone is kind of weird also with the fact that they tuned down. It just sounds weird. It's heavy, but it's not like Countdown to Extinction guitar tone or Rust in Peace tone. It sounds, how do you explain it? Not hard rockish, kind of grungy. I don't know exactly how to place this guitar tone. It's just not sounding like Megadeth would pick it, but they did pick it, but it just sounds weird, the rhythm at least. But solo-wise, the solo lead parts actually sound really good. I like the tone they picked for the lead and the solo bits, but for the rhythm, I would personally not pick it. Let's just say that. I would personally not pick it, but at the same time, it does make the song sound, at least make the melody sound a little bit different and kind of interesting to listen to, but overall, I would not pick this type of tone. But then again, I think at the same time, if they would have picked another guitar tone, like a tone similar to Countdown to Extinction, then maybe the songs wouldn't sound the same. Maybe they would have a different feel, and maybe I wouldn't like some of the songs as much as I do with this weird tone. But, like I said, I wouldn't personally pick the tone for the guitars. Dave Ellefson on bass. His bass is not that audible that much. I mean, I can hear it, but he's not really playing any interesting parts to where I'm going, go Dave, go. Because he, on every album up to this, mostly, he's had moments where he's able to shine and do his little things. But on this album, there's not a lot of moments where he's standing out. So, I didn't like that. But, it is what it is. But, his bass was audible, just not enough, like, to where I'm going, go Dave, go crazy. And he doesn't. So, Nick Menza on drums. His drum sound actually is pretty decent. I actually like the drum sound. It's heavy, and it fits along with the songs, the fact that they're slowing down a bit. But Nick Menza's still doing some pretty interesting stuff on the drums. Probably not exactly to what everyone else thinks, like, oh, they gotta play super fast all the time. But Nick Menza was actually able to do some interesting stuff, the fact that the band slowed down, but it still wasn't up to what he's capable of doing. But of course, since the songs are not rest in peace stuff, he can't go crazy all the time. But he's able to throw in some really interesting moments. So I gotta give props to Nick. But I gotta give props to all the band. It's just some of the things just wasn't what I'm used to from Megadeth, at least. It's really a different style of Megadeth, a different type of Megadeth. So the two songs that I do want to talk about, actually, before I give my final thoughts on this, but after I get through the two songs I do want to talk about, I'll talk about what you'll expect from this album if you've not heard it. But if you've not heard it, what are you doing? But anyways, so I hope I pronounce this right. I probably won't. Tout le Monde is the ballad, I would say. It's really ballady. It's got a good acoustic guitar. It's got a really interesting solo and interesting dual solo at the end. And I love Dave's lyrics on that. That's actually one of my personal favorites off the album. I just enjoy what that song was. It just really had a lot of stuff going on in there. So props to that track. It's a really interesting track. And we'll see that track later on when we get to United Abominations, which I can't wait to get to that version. But so the second song I do want to talk about is Victory, which is the final track. Which it's interesting because the lyrics, basically, Dave Mustaine is naming off, I think, either most of the songs they've done in the past, or at least, it's not all of them, I don't think, but he's naming off a bunch of past tracks from past Megadeth records, which is really interesting because I don't think I've ever heard anybody do this, but it's an interesting thing. I actually enjoy the song. Of course, the song right before the final chorus ends the full entire album and ends the song is that there's a really crazy solo bits that are going on with Dave and Marty Friedman. So that's pretty interesting to listen to. But other than that, all these songs are pretty, like I said, it depends on your preference. Because for me, I enjoy some of the tracks, not exactly all the tracks. I mean, I can listen to all the tracks and not have a problem. But there's just some things where I'm going, why didn't Dave just do something better? Why didn't they just, like, you know, add more variety in this track? Why didn't they add another solo or something in this track? I mean, there's just a lot of things that I really wish would have been different, but it wasn't. This is what it is, and this is Euthanasia. And what we got is a lower standard guitar tuning of an album with pretty interesting tracks and some not so interesting tracks. And you're just left going, I wish there was something more that could have happened here. And it doesn't happen, and it is what it is. So my final verdict is that I do enjoy the songs that I do enjoy on this album. I can listen to the album and not really gripe, but at the end of the day, there's still things that I wish was different. I still wish there was things that could be changed, but of course, you know, remasters. Well, that doesn't fix exactly what people wanted and what I wanted. But it's a pretty interesting album. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's an interesting album. I'm not going to say it's a great album, but it's an interesting album. And, you know, songs like Train of Consciousness, Addicted to Chaos, Tout le Monde, The Killing Road, Victory. I Thought I Knew It All, which I thought was pretty interesting to listen to as well. Those tracks are some really interesting tracks that I really enjoyed. But overall, I wish there was more. I really wish. So if you love this album, great. I'm not going to hate you for it. It's just, for me, it's a decent album. I would say maybe it's a good album, but it's more of a decent album in my opinion. So that's my review, guys. If you like me and you like the video and you like my review, like the video. And if you like me and you want to see more of my reviews, click up there, subscribe, or click my name to see what I'm doing on YouTube. So thanks for watching my review, guys. I will see you guys soon with another review. And up next in the Megadeth discography is Cryptic Writings. See ya.